So you invest in founders. You're a people first company. What do you look for in someone who fits the rare breed, ideal?
Every company and every founder is its own unique situation, but I'm looking for one from a business standpoint. I'm looking for people who have a very unique and direct opinion of way on how they do customer acquisition, experience, and retention. If you show me you know how to find customers, you can get them to buy your product, and they can keep coming back, then you might have a chance to actually win. And by having that mindset, it allows me to take out my own biases where I don't have to know exactly what market you're in. If I know that you find customers, they love it and keep buying it, they love it and they keep coming back to buy it, well, that's how we become the firm that never misses out on the opportunity to invest in a company like Spanx, right? You can imagine, when Spanx is first pitching to a bunch of VCs, like, there are a bunch of folks who don't get it. But the moment she says, well, I go to these department stores and sell it to women, women love it, and most women are going to buy 4 of these a year. Okay. Like, I don't need to know everything about this. You clearly figured out a market and something that's working. And then, it's sometimes it's the intangibles. So like the woman I mentioned who I backed in Baltimore, I was working with her for like 3 years and nobody wanted to invest in her. And so what she did was she became a surrogate mother. She gave birth to twins to raise the money to start building her prototype. You can't tell me that's a person who won't do whatever it takes to be successful. Like that level of grit, most people will never be able to see. And then on the flip side, I invested in a 17-year-old kid out of Baltimore who basically hacked Venmo to get his first 25,000 customers. One of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. I just made the bet on him because he was one of the smartest people I ever met, right? And so every founder in every situation is different. But it's those unique things about them that kind of set them over the edge. We just committed to a company the other day where we're talking to the founders, a really cool company. And I noticed on LinkedIn that he had ran this nonprofit helping returning citizens or people who are returning out of jail. And I asked him about it. He's like, yeah, my dad was a lawyer and he was a pioneer in justice reform. And he's like, really helping people and supporting people is really important to me. And that's why I'm like, oh, yeah. You're definitely the kind of person we want to invest in. Right? So it's those things that sometimes go beyond just the business that we look for.
And these are people that the traditional venture capitalists would have never discovered because they're not in Baltimore, they're not in your community, they're not interacting with these people, and you're going to events to meet these people, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, before we had a global pandemic, I spent a lot of time in my community and other communities, I spent a lot of time in Birmingham, Alabama, and St. Louis, and Detroit, where you get to meet these folks. You get to go in these communities. You go speak at a Chamber of Commerce event. You go speak at Urban League event. You go hang out at the Lesbians Who Tech local meetups. I can't tell you how much crap I got when I used to work for the investment of the state of Maryland for going to the Lesbians Who Tech meetup. They're like, why are you going to this event? I was like, it says Who Tech. Like, I'm looking for tech entrepreneurs. Like, I might find one there.
You don't discriminate.
Like, oh.
Equal opportunity here.
that's such a novel concept, right? And so I just learned that when you go wild and you're intentional, you get access to far more people and far more entrepreneurs than you do just waiting for them to come to you.
Yeah, well, you talked about the 17-year-old kid, right? That sent people a penny on Venmo to bring them to scholarme.com. That's pretty interesting. What ended up happening to that 17-year-old?
So that 17-year-old Femi ended up getting some money from us at the state of Maryland, used that to go live in New York and raise $500,000 from a bunch of ex-Goldman Sachs folks. Ended up going to Y Combinator, which is the premier startup program in the country. Raised $2.5 million coming out of that. Got some money directly from the founder and got led by a large venture firm, and now has a company that is growing by leaps and bounds and will have some major updates coming out soon. He's now 21. He's now a 21-year-old black kid from Baltimore, running a company worth multi-millions and is on the pathway to being a really large fintech company.